I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a little bit as I move along, especially when I get into the reign of the kings. However, right now I am still in Deuteronomy. My last video, I read the first half of chapter 4, and this video we are going to complete or finish chapter 4. We are starting in verse 25. When thou shalt beget children, and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. And there ye shall serve gods that work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy God, and shalt be obedient unto his voice, for the Lord thy God is a merciful God, he will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. So now a brief recap here. In the first half of the chapter, he gives a very strong warning about worshiping idols. He says God didn't show you what he looks like because he doesn't want you to fall into this trap of making idols and then giving them false characteristics, false understandings, and we're trying to avoid that. But now this is actually what's going to happen if they do start worshiping idols. And I like that he doesn't say that if this happens. He says when thou shalt beget children in the land and make graven images. So it's going to happen. Moses is telling him this is going to happen. He is prophesying here of the dispersion of Israel throughout the nations. But he is giving them the promise that in the latter days, if they will return to God, God will still welcome them home. So this is more than just a warning of what could happen. This is Moses saying what will happen. Anyways, verse 32. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and ask from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there hath been any such thing as this great thing is, or hath been heard like it. Did ever people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard, and live? Or hath God essayed to go and take him a nation from the midst of other nations? From the midst of another nation, by temptations, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? Unto thee it was shewed, that thou mightest know that the Lord, he is God. There is none else beside him. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee. And upon earth he shewed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought thee out in his sight with his mighty power out of Egypt, to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee in, to give thee their land for an inheritance as it is this day. Know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart, that the Lord, he is God in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath. There is none else. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Lord thy God giveth thee forever. Now, I do have to point out, there are a couple, he says, has any nation experienced this kind of thing? And no, the details, the specifics of it, no. But we do have the story of the city of Enoch. And this was a people that were so righteous, God took them off the earth. He translated the whole city. So what's Moses' comparison here? See, Enoch city was not taken out. It was not a people that God took from another nation to go conquer other nations and raise up as his covenant. The city of Enoch was, after Enoch was preaching, those who were faithful, those who believed, came together and built a new city. Now, other people attacked the city, but they never attacked. They never went on a conquest. God didn't take one people out of another. He took many individuals and formed them into a people. So what Moses is saying is very true. If you look through the history, what happened in Israel, in Egypt for Israel, has never happened. It never happened before that, and it has never happened after that. It will happen when the 10 tribes are restored once again and come down from the north. That will happen. But it hasn't happened since then, and it never happened before then. This specific scenario has never happened before. Let's continue. Verse 41. And Moses severed 3 cities on this side Jordan toward the sunrising, that the slayer might flee thither, which should kill his neighbor unawares, and hated him not in times past. And that fleeing unto one of these cities he might live, namely Bezer in the wilderness, in the plain country of the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead of the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan of the Manassites. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Moses spake unto the children of Israel after they came forth out of Egypt, on this side Jordan, in the valley over against Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel smote after they were come forth out of Egypt. And they possessed his land in the land of Og, king of Bashan, 2 kings of the Amorites, which were on this side Jordan towards the sunrising, from Aroer, which is by the bank of the river Arnon, even unto Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the plains on this side Jordan eastward, even unto the sea of the plain, under the springs of Pisgah. The sea of the plain, that is the Dead Sea again. Now this is just a little refresher of what God has done and what Moses did. When he said he severed 3 cities, he said he separated them out. These are the cities of refuge that we read about in Numbers. So I don't think we need to say a whole lot about that. Now, like I said, I will be hopefully soon getting a video up about the map to show the travels, first of all, the travels of Israel, but also I'll do 2 videos. One showing the travels of Israel, and then when I get into the book of Joshua and the actual conquest of Canaan, I'll put up another video on the border of Israel and what they were allowed to conquer and what their borders eventually were. Now, since this video isn't too long, I am going to flip into the Bible dictionary just for a moment because I am curious who the Amorites are. Let us see. Who are the Amorites? Here we go. Very, very brief entry here in the Bible dictionary. There is some uncertainty as to the use of this name. It probably denotes a fair-skinned and blue-eyed race, as we learn from Egyptian monuments, who inhabited the south of Palestine before Semitic tribes like the Israelites, Ammonites, Edomites, etc. made their appearance there. Lachish was one of their chief cities. In the Tel El Amarna tablets, Amurai is the common name for Palestine. Among the Amorites were included the Hivites. So we don't really know who the Amorites are. They're just people. If they are fair-skinned and blue-eyed, I would say most likely descendants of Japheth. But they could be descendants of Shem as well. We don't really know that. I guess maybe I'll do a little more research on that, because I am fascinated by the history and all these different people that are mentioned. So maybe I'll do a little more research and talk about it in a future video. But right now, we are going to leave this here, and I will see you in the next one.